Chelsea fans are salivating whilst Arsenal fans are panicking and giving themselves copium. Noni Madueke, well, it looks like this deal is happening. Numbers are coming out, background checks are complete as if it's a CRB check, and more importantly, it looks like it's going in a positive direction because three very reputable journalists, Ornstein, Fabrizio, and Ben Jacobs, are coming out with detail. Furthermore, Petrovic, well, there's a bid in. It's from Bournemouth. I'm going to tell you what is going on, how much Chelsea are wanting to take, and is this deal likely to happen? Samuel Smith, he looks like he's breaking the mold. At this moment in time, no player from Cobham has gone to Strasbourg. Guess who's pictured today at Strasbourg? Then, we've got an update on Cole Palmer. Cole Palmer and Nicholas Jackson's bust-up was public. You could see Cole Palmer's frustration. He was exuding all of the annoyance that he had for the player. And we need to talk about it because some people are saying it's bang out of order. Some people are saying it's accountability and it's stand. You're going to get my perspective. And finally, we're going into a midfield battle potentially with PSG or Real Madrid that we need to win. And why I'm talking about this is because we got an update on Caicedo's injury potentially. We got an update on the future of Santos. And we've got a beautiful I get it moment from Enzo Fernandez, and he highlights why he's proper Chelsea. But before we get started and we go into this detailed video today, what I need from all of you, I need you lot to hit that like button. 1,000 likes supports the channel massively. Secondly, if you made it this far, subscribe to the channel. It's the best way you can support the channel and literally help me get to 50,000. Alright, bet. Let's start with the Cole Palmer. Yesterday, Chelsea beat Fluminense. Chelsea beat Fluminense, and on numerous occasions, what I've started noticing is Cole Palmer's frustration with Nicholas Jackson has really been elevated. It's been for at least 6 months now. I've been even talking about it on this channel. Palmer's getting sick and tired of it. Players are getting annoyed. And it's not only Palmer, I've seen it from Madueke as well. You give the ball to Jackson in a position, Jackson should be finishing it, he doesn't finish it. Jackson should be releasing it, he doesn't release it. When he does release it, it's behind the player. And their body language and their demonstration is more extravagant when it's Jackson in comparison to any other player. I've been saying they're just holding high standards. Yesterday, Jackson's going through one-on-one. Thiago Silva is coming across. Some are arguing that the pass was blocked off. Jackson had every right to take a shot. I'm sitting in the middle. I think a good player takes a touch, gets the timing right, threads the ball past Thiago Silva. I think Jackson is keen to impress. Joao Pedro's come in. Joao Pedro scored goals. What's going on? The man wants to impress and he wants to get on the score sheet to give himself some confidence. We know what's going on. Palmer's reaction, in my opinion, was one of a man that is extremely frustrated. This is one of a man that had it building up and he took it out on the poor goalpost. He kicked the goalpost, he started yelling at him, and it was public. We're winning 2-0. There wasn't, let's get locked in, let's get back into the game. This was vented frustration. And what I want to ask you guys is, do you like this? Do you think this is important in winning teams? Do you think people are meant to call each other out? Or do you think this should be handled behind closed doors? Because how I feel about this is, I get it. When you're on a football pitch, you want to win. That is a natural reaction. However, you're 2-0 up. Usually the reaction is more mellow the more you're winning by. And what tends to happen is you'd keep your cool and go behind closed doors and deal with it. But now it's public. What I think is the club want to get rid of Nicholas Jackson. I think the players are tired of him. And I think we've got to a position with Nicholas Jackson is the Kai Havertz saga. 50% of the fans love him. They're going to defend him. Whatever he does, it's never his fault. The other half think he's absolutely diabolically bad. And there is no middle ground. People have picked their polarizing sides, and now we need to decide what's going on. Let me know in the comments below how you feel. What do you think of this situation? I think it's a bit messy still. The next story is regarding Noni Madueke, because we're talking about the importance level here, and for me, this story is massive. Look, Arsenal Football Club want Noni Madueke. They were linked with him last year. Everyone thought it was just paper talk. Now, all of a sudden, they're back in. And not only are they back in, apparently they're doing a background check on him. They're trying to basically see what's going on in his personal life, who he's friends with, what he does in his free time. In my opinion, this happens with every player. I'm just really surprised why at this moment in time we're hearing about this so publicly. I think the media is trying to get clicks out of it, and they know Arsenal fans are triggered. They know Chelsea fans are praying he leaves. So what they're doing is they're putting as much information out there about Noni Madueke because they just know people are going to run to the site to read. So I think this is a non-story. But what is a story is what Fabrizio, Ornstein, and Ben Jacobs have been saying. This is where it gets very interesting, and we also had some Simon Johnston from The Athletic detail. Right, when Chelsea sell players, I've noticed a trend, other people have noticed a trend. A lot of details that don't paint the player in the best light start to arise. A lot of stuff that happened 12 months ago comes to fruition again, and they start talking about it. It starts coming out as reasons why they want to get rid of it. Sometimes people say that's unfair. Some people will say, no, it's just part of life. Your track record, their justification for getting rid of the player is going to come out. Simon Johnston at The Athletic apparently has said, there have been incidents where Noni Madueke has basically not been trying in training and he's been dropped on 2 occasions. We remember this. This happened under Enzo Maresca. Maresca came out and publicly said this. He said this about him and Renato Vega. It happened before Christmas and it also happened at the start of the season. We remember that. Enzo even took a shot. Some people scored a couple of goals and started getting excited. Something along those lines. Then there was an explanation that some players were getting. Noni Madueke was frustrated about being subbed. They've had bust-ups about that. And finally, now news is coming out that Noni is the one pushing for a move. He got a new agency and a new agent, and they're basically trying to get paid. So what's happening here is the story's gone from Chelsea want to sell him to this player wants to leave and he's not in the manager's plan. He's basically a bad egg. I don't like this one. I don't like it. We don't need to do this personally. I don't think Noni's one of those players where the fan base will melt down that you're selling him to a rival. You don't need to tarnish his image. For me, that frustrates me. I don't like what's going on. Fabrizio said talks are escalating between the two clubs. Two clubs are sitting down. They started to talk. Ornstein adds that there is a gap in the valuation. However, clubs got to have a good relationship, and what they're going to do is try to come to a closer agreement. Ben Jacobs has come out with numbers, and I love Ben Jacobs because what Ben Jacobs does is what the kids call boring. Waffling. However, he's not waffling. What he's doing is he's painting the picture, giving you the full context of how complicated these sagas can be. And he's explaining, Arsenal want to play £40 million plus add-ons. Chelsea want something beginning with a 5 plus add-ons. They're using Elanga's move to to Newcastle United as a barometer. Hold on. Elanga's worth this. Noni's worth this. They play in the same position. They're roughly the same age. They both are of a similar level of player. If not, Noni's better. This is what I think now is going to happen. What I think is going to happen is this deal is as good as done. They've agreed personal terms with Noni Madueke. They know the player wants to come. The player wants to go. They want him. Chelsea are willing to sell. This is just two parties negotiating. This is that sing and dance that I hate. We want somewhere nearly £60 million in a full total as Chelsea. Arsenal want to pay 40. Have a guess where the number's going to settle. I think Chelsea are going to get 45 million guaranteed, 10 million in add-ons. That's what I think is going to happen. And is that a good deal for Noni Madueke? I think that's a wonderful deal for Noni Madueke. Genuinely speaking, that's my opinion. A lot of you might disagree. Let me know your thoughts. But do you think it's fair what the club is doing in terms of just sources are coming out now and describing what Noni Madueke is like behind closed doors, allegedly? I think the next story is very important and we need to talk about it, and it's regarding Petrovic. What we know is Petrovic didn't want to go to the Club World Cup. He wanted to sort his future out, and it's a good thing that he did, because what would have happened is he would have sat on the bench and Sanchez would have been the number one, because we're taking the tournament very seriously. He would have been frustrated, and as it looks like his future's coming to end at Chelsea Football Club. We heard a couple of days ago from sources that Sunderland were creeping towards getting the player. Now it's coming out from Fabrizio that Bournemouth have put in a bid. We know that Chelsea and Bournemouth have done business in the past together, and one of the players was for Kepa. They took Kepa off us on a loan, he's come back, and now he's gone to Arsenal on a permanent, and he's no longer our player. But they want him. What we know is the fee is £25 million if you want Petrovic. I don't know whether Bournemouth are going to pay that. We know Bournemouth have got money. They just sold Kirkes. They have just sold Huijsen. And they're most likely going to sell Zubani as well. So if they get him, good on them. Are they going to get him? I don't know. But Fabrizio Romano is reiterating the interest there is big. Sunderland want him and many other clubs around Europe. I think this deal is going to get done. Whether it's to Bournemouth or to somewhere, Petrovic will not be at Chelsea next year. I think we're going to get very close to that 25 million mark, and I think that's good business for Chelsea Football Club. The next story is regarding Ishe Samuel Smith, and then we'll get into Enzo Caicedo and Santos. The reason I'm talking about Ishe is because we know Ishe is going on loan. Ishe recently signed a new contract. What did I do on this channel? Because you all know I support Chelsea. However, but when Chelsea make mistakes, I call them out. And I said, what is Ishe doing? It is a stupid decision to sign a new contract. There is no pathway. And I even said, if he goes to the Club World Cup, I'll put my hand up and say I'm wrong. However, he didn't go. He wasn't part of the squad. He wasn't integrated. And guess what's happened? He's basically gone on a holiday. Now, today he's been pictured at Strasbourg's training ground. And there's rumours coming out that he could be going on loan there potentially. This is big news, not because a player from Chelsea is going to Strasbourg. It's because a Cobham player is going to Strasbourg. Someone that was acquired at a very young age, developed at Cobham, is viewed as a Cobham prospect, and now has the possibility to go to Strasbourg. We haven't seen that. The players that from the top of my head that have gone there are Moreira, Angela, Santos, Petrovic. I can't think of anyone else off the top of my head at the moment that have gone there from Chelsea Football Club. And what this tells you is it's always been the players that they've purchased from abroad. Now, it's a young Cobham graduate going. And for me, this is important because what you're showing him now is you can go play in Ligue 1. You can go develop in that mentality. You can also play European football in the Conference League. And then if you're good enough, like Santos, you can come back and be cover or stake a claim to be starter. If not, we'll sell you on. And for me, this just makes total sense. Ishe, in my opinion, whilst he would have been very good in the Championship, and you know what, the Championship is a great place for the young players to go, especially when you're a defender. You know, you learn how to be physical, you learn how to deal with crosses, you learn how to deal with runners off you, you learn how to play with the English element, where it's cold one night, then it's sunny, then it's windy, then it's rainy, then it's snowing in December. Next thing you know, it's 46 games and you've racked up so many minutes, you've got injuries, you're playing through it, you're going to develop. It is a tight schedule that you're going to have to learn through, and it will drive you crazy most probably, but at the end of it you're going to come through like $1 million. Liga is very similar with less games. That's just the difference, you know. So for me, this will be a great move. I really hope this happens. I'm going to get to watch a lot of Ishe Samuel-Smith because I like watching Strasbourg. The final bit of news is actually very nice news to talk about, because normally what tends to happen is news is hyperactive and we talk about transfers and oh my god, this player's going, oh my god, this player's leaving, oh my god, this guy might be coming in. But stories like this is the ones that I actually love. We might be in a final, right? Well, we are in a final and we might be against PSG or Real Madrid. And for the first time going into one of those games in a while, I'm very confident in our midfield. And the reason I say this is because we could go into with a midfield three of Enzo, Caicedo, and Andre Santos. And the reason I say that is because we're going to get the 5'3" with an attitude Portuguese midfielders, plus their uncle Brian Ruiz, or yeah, Ruiz, I don't know his first name, if I'm not mistaken. And we're going to have to match up because the Portuguese ballers are tiki-taka. Ruiz is everything. Physical, tiki-taka, goal-scoring midfielder. He's a brilliant player. So we're going to have to match them if we play PSG. If we play, Real Madrid, it'll be a different kind of battle. However, Real Madrid are good. Bro, it's Real Madrid in the final, innit? No way we're favourites. So, what do I want to talk about this? Firstly, Santos came out and said he's basically confirmed that he said he's very happy. He wants to go and win the final. He loves, the manager likes him. He likes him. Very positive. What I wanted to hear. A lot of people said to me, you see, you were panicking for no reason. I wasn't panicking for no reason. I told you. I'm being paranoid. Why am I being paranoid? Because a player that needs to be shown a pathway didn't play in the first two games at all. But then guess what happened? He came on for the third game. Then guess what happened? They started him against Palmeiras. Then guess what happened? He came on again yesterday. What they're doing is they're showing him you are important. You are part of the plans. If you might not be starting, but you will be playing. That is important. Then Caicedo went into a challenge he had no business going into. And as much as we love Caicedo for that, sometimes, bro, chill. You know, we're 2-0 up, 96th minute, 93rd minute. What are you doing? And if you're injured, what are we going to do without you, bro? Like, sometimes, come on, man, calma. Relax, uspokój. And the reality is, Caicedo apparently only went back on because he wanted to go back on. He wanted to not let his team play with 10. Enzo said, we can play with 10. Don't worry, stay off the pitch. He said, no, I'm going back on. And then he chose to come off. So he was struggling with his ankle a little bit. Enzo basically told him, you better be ready for that final. We need you. And I think he will be ready. And then I think you need to put a huge ice pack on him and let him go rest on holiday. The final bit of news is regarding Enzo Fernandez, right? Enzo Fernandez put up a post and he said, Chelsea's in another final where the club should have never left. Basically, like, he went on and had this little paragraph. It was beautiful. And he was highlighting how this is what it means to be at Chelsea. You get to finals, you win trophies, and you're dominant. You don't lose, you don't finish 12th, you don't finish 6th. you're always in the Champions League. And what I really noticed is this man has really developed in front of our eyes. He's a leader. Apparently, I saw a stat, I've not confirmed it, so please do not take it as gospel. In 10 finals, he's won 9 of them. This is a cerebral winner if this is true. This is somebody that has the right mentality. This is somebody that works hard to get his body right. This is somebody that performs on the pitch. This is somebody that has really elevated his game. And that midfield 3 against PSG would be so exciting to watch because it would be a test. We would get to see what they're like against Vitinha, Neves and Ruiz, who are a well-oiled machine. And I can't wait for it. I genuinely can't. I really hope PSG win because I don't want none of that Madrid smoke, personally. If we get Madrid in the final, pray for us because Vinny will turn into Neymar, Mbappe will turn into Thierry Henry, and Rodrigo will turn into Prime Ronaldo. And we will be struggling. But we still have good players and I back our boys as well. I'm going to be delusional and I'm going to say it is what it is. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, let me know your thoughts. If you did not get enough of the Kavkas View, here's the review from yesterday's game. Go check it out, let me know your thoughts.